I think it's important to make a video like this because my wife was actually a very kind, empathetic, dynamic, loving, intelligent person. And if this is the first time seeing me, well, I was married for 25 years to my wife, and unfortunately, she passed away from alcohol use disorder a little over 4.5 years ago. And I tell stories, but it's also important to talk about the person. Because when I first met her, we were insurance agents. I met her at the first company that we ever worked for. Is a company called FHP. It's long since gone, but I met her. I had worked for this company for I think 3 or 4 years, and she was one of the newer reps. And they had a board where they put your names up on the board, and she was one of the new reps. I worked on a different section of it, but uh, her name was Dingle at the time, and I remember looking at it was the leaderboard, and all the reps were in it, so her name was closer to the bottom. And I remember going, Dingle, what the hell kind of name is Dingle? And her desk was right next to the desk, and she stood up and she crossed her arms like this, and she goes, I'm Dingle, I'm Mandy Dingle. And she had these piercing blue eyes, and she was impeccably dressed, and her hair was perfect, and it was just, she didn't really fit into the rest of the sales crew, actually. And I was like, hi, how you doing? Oh, sorry, I didn't know. uh, Good to meet you, kind of thing. And I was kind of taken back. It was pretty funny. That was the first time I ever met her. And I didn't really start going out with her until about a year later. Some mutual friends. We actually met in Big Bear. I remember there was a musical fest, or it was actually, I guess, Oktoberfest. And we went up there, and a lot of our friends were supposed to go up there. I was supposed to meet them. And I remember going there, and there was nobody was there except Amanda. And it was so strange. I remember being in the parking lot going, there's nobody here. And she came walking across the parking lot, and we obviously started talking and bonding. And later I found out that it was kind of a setup by our friends, that they all said they're going to go up there, but they didn't. They told her the same thing so that the two of us would get together, which I always found pretty amusing. Well, it worked. We ended up getting married about a year and a half later. But it was a really very, very nice time. She was a very nice person. She was always kind, always had nothing but good things to say to people. You miss that. You miss that in the person. I think that's why later it was so difficult to watch her go downhill the way that she did, because it was so against really what she was, and not taking care of herself physically and emotionally. That's why it was so hard and so odd to accept it. I think that's why so much of us, including myself, hung in there as long as we did. And of course, we were the best of friends. I mean, we did everything together. We worked together. I mean, we lived together, worked together. I mean, I had a house when she first met me. I had just bought, and our first real date was picking up my dog. I had a dog I was getting at the pound, and she wanted to go with me. And that was my dog Chester, and she had a dog Sammy. Hers was an Australian Shepherd. Mine was, I don't know, some kind of mix of insanity. But the two dogs really meshed, and we kind of became a family. It was the two of us and the dogs for a long time. And then, after we got married in '94, we had Griffin in 2000, and we became a family. It was really a wonderful time. I mean, there were way more good years than there were bad years. And I talk about the bad years because it's kind of the point. It's the culmination of the ending, and the ending is far more dramatic than the beginning. But to understand the ending, first you have to revisit the beginning and understand why this relationship existed at all. And it really was a wonderful relationship. I mean, she was a very good mother. She did. A lot of people ask me, she did not drink when she was pregnant. There was a period there for about a year where she was able to, pull herself away from it. But, again, she was pregnant in 1999, so this was 20 years before she passed away, and long before the disease itself completely, engulfed her, unfortunately. But kudos to her. That's why Griffin today is very, very healthy and intelligent, and a very solid kid himself. And a large of that can be attributed to certainly his early years. And when Griffin was born, we used to read to him every night. I mean, the two of us, we took turns. I mean, there's always been a book house, There's hundreds and thousands of books in her house, and Griffin's always been, very, very much attached to them. But Amanda would read to him at night, even before he knew how to read, and I would read to him at night. And we always spent a lot of time with him because so much of our job we worked from home, so he was able to have a lot of one-on-one time with us, and it was really wonderful. I'd say up to about, I think some serious signs showed it up about 2009. Maybe 15 years into the marriage. Amanda suffered from ascites, and it was the first time we really had a very big health scare. I've made videos on that as well. And I think one of the biggest things with Amanda is that you always had to tell her that you loved her. I mean, if you walked out of the room and didn't tell her that you loved her, then she would just like pout, and it was kind of her thing. And she used to do it with Griffin. Griffin would walk in, I love you, love you, love you, love you. I mean, there was always that kind of exchange in our house. It was just a very kind environment until this disease took over and really took all that away. And it's not something I talk about a lot because it's not, a lot of times it's not really germane to the disease, but in a sense it is, because I think that's where it all came from. That's why I hung out with her to the bitter end, pretty much, until really emotionally I couldn't. I think the last month I just couldn't do it anymore, and I kind of explained that in recent videos. But I hope that makes sense. I hope that gives a little bit more light into why this project has come to be, and really the heart of it, in the book again, is Amanda, a cautionary tale of alcoholism. It's set to come out. It's really supposed to be coming out today, but I'm not sure if it's quite up yet, but it will be later today. Grab a copy. And again, thanks so much for listening. And again, I go live Monday through Friday right around 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We also have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Link for everything is in the link tree. You can also pick up the book right on my website. Again, that's in the link tree. The PayPal button is right there. It'll also be on Amazon later today. And this is December 12th, 2024. And when you're ready to work with me one-on-one, again, link is in the bio. Set up a breakthrough call. It takes about 45 minutes or so. We want to do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. I'm looking for people who are committed to change their lives. The call is free. The program definitely is not. But I'm looking for people who want to change their lives, and I've changed many. And again, thanks so much for listening.